Day 79 of a screenwriter's journey. Still working on this scene. I think it's been 3 days basically working on this scene, which was necessitated, as I've said several times, by, at least in part, by the change of the speed up of not waiting overnight for the test results to come back. So, actually, having said I was working on the scene, I've jumped ahead to the follow up scene where Gary sort of pours his heart out. Oh, that's right. We ended yesterday by saying this is sort of Gary's, not really resolution, but sort of his final melting point, maybe, and he's spelling out what has happened. That's right. Then I was talking about the number of characters you could develop and so on and so forth. All right, so let's see what we're doing here. I'm again, based on these changes, I'm kind of realizing as I go where the next scene has to be, that necessarily wasn't there before, or that I've had to move into a new location. And then this line of Lexi's, um, obviously she's saying it kind of to fool with them, to mess with them, as is kind of the whole point of this scene between she and Larry. Um, and I don't really know where this idea came from because, sorry, I had to cough. Obviously, they're not really scared. They're worried. They're anxious, but I don't think they are at a place where they would just sit there and say nothing. And so they kind of take the offensive in a, verbally, which I think is good because it shows them being a little, clever and not just willing to submit to whatever's going on. So when Rachel says, remember what I told you at the trampoline place, which was just to keep your mouth shut and behave, Larry immediately comes with this idea of the deal, which I think I had in the previous version maybe, but I don't know, this may be slightly different. And then Larry piles on there, which I think hopefully would be justified and realistic, kind of given his character. Okay. So Abby has established where they're going. Is she? I don't know if she's found this. Goes back to checking her phone. So I still need to clear that up, whether she found that or someone else found that. Well, it must be her because Gary says let her know. So I got to make sure that this does not get repeated. And then Hogan has that line about your boyfriend, and that's one of those lines where you're saying it hoping it isn't true. Although, he's obviously not ready to date her necessarily, but that's kind of where that comes from. And will that make it into the next pass? Wait and see. Leave a comment right after you share and like and subscribe. All right, so yeah, here again is difference. This is what I like to call virgin writing because this scene has necessitated from the changes. So this is like all brand new. And I had mentioned the other day about I was down to like 102 pages and I'm already back up to 105. So I have no worries that this will be landing sort of in that 105, 106-ish neighborhood. So as you can read, assuming you can read, if you couldn't, that would really be a bummer, wouldn't it? So the Hogan's car and the pickup truck pass each other on the road, and why the pickup truck people, Ace and Clyde, are able to see who it is or suspect who it is, I don't think we really have to explain. Obviously, it makes it a lot more exciting that they did, as opposed to Because what I thought for a minute is that they could pass and then Hollywood and or Hogan would say, I think that's them. Then they would turn around and start following them, because ideally in their world, they would follow them to the airport and then whatever would happen. But this way, as we've spoken of, whenever you can throw a wrench into the protagonist's plans, not just once or twice, but kind of throughout, which is, I think you could see where that's happened several times here. It always is better because it makes them stronger. It makes them have to think. It makes them have to grow, etc. A couple hundred yards behind. Okay. So yeah, she has that pop the fridge, and I think maybe I changed. I didn't see myself, but I was thinking instead of saying the trunk, we could. Oh my goodness, the day's over. So she's going to see what's in the fridge, so to speak, and what's in there we won't know until day 80. But fortunately, that's only one day away. One more day. So we'll pick it up then on a screenwriter's journey.